This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gab-fed show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. You have been trained for a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know it's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. It's war. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.net.
And do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Welcome to Man Talk 133 with Charles and Darl, the movement dedicated to empowering men, uniting brothers, and building a strong coalition. This is more than just a conversation. It's a call to action. Join us as we uplift, support, and inspire men worldwide. Because together, we don't just talk, we lead. We grow, and we conquer. Are you ready to be part of the coalition? Let's dive in.
Welcome to Man Talk 133 with Charles and Darryl. What's happening, everybody? What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's going on, bro? How you feeling?
Man, ain't nothing to it, man. You know, we thank everybody for joining again, man. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show. Right. So, you know, bro, May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I know a lot of people done talked about it. And, you know, because it's the month. The month where everybody be talking about it. So guess what? Tag we it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because like I say, you know, you got Mother's Day and graduations and proms and all of that. So they kind of gloss over it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a little bit, man. And so you know, I did some research on it, man. And you know, I guess my question is mental health illness, what causes it?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You got so many different forms of mental health, you know, things like, you know, so I was like, you know how you see people like back where you from, and they used to be standing on the side of the road talking to themselves, doing all kind of crazy stuff, and you know, people pass it off as, man, they drunk, dog. They on them. Remember you say they on them crazy pills.
Yeah.
Remember that? And back in the day, that was them fighting words. Somebody say you own them crazy pills.
And that's what the problem is now, man. Like the reason why some people don't get help, because you know they're afraid somebody gonna say, you know, you on them crazy pills.
Yeah, well, that,
you know what I'm saying?
That was a fight for real, wasn't it?
Hey, you know what I'm saying? You know, it will, you know, give you a mental blow to the gut. But if somebody say that, but I mean, it is what it is. You know, if you like that in that situation, you need to take them pills though, and you know, get yourself some help and heal. You know what I mean?
Get yourself some healing, man, for real. That's a fact.
But I do understand though, like, you know what I'm saying, like like said, those crazy pills. Like, don't nobody want to be attached to that.
To that at all.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I feel you on that.
It ain't funny, but that back in the day, legitly, those were fighting words. If you told somebody they was on crazy pills, you fight on site. It ain't no question about it, Doc. So as I was doing my research, Doc, I found out, you know, it was a lot of different, most common types. The first one is clinical depression, the persistent feeling of sadness or loss of interest that characterizes major depression can lead to a range of behavior or physical symptoms. This may include changes in sleep, appetite, energy, energy level, concentration, daily behavior, or self-esteem. Now, this one is mostly can be associated. Depression also can be associated with thoughts of suicide. I kind of think, man, this may be the most common one. I don't know. Let me put that little disclaimer in there. We are not mental health counselors.
Right.
So the information we're giving is for educational purposes only. I would suggest you can read. Don't go and say, "Man Talk 133 with Charles and Daryl told me this."
Right.
Go see a for real licensed person. Don't say we said nothing. This is for, and I want to be clear, dog. It's for educational purposes only.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I kind of think this is like one of the major ones that you hear about a lot. The clinical depression.
Okay.
Yeah, the one I just read, man. Am I got a delay or something?
No, you good. You good on this one. Yeah.
Yes, the clinical depression, what I just read, because you think about it, most people when they have depression starts, they change in sleep. They either sleep a lot, lose their appetite. You know, they concentration, they can't really focus on, you know, what the task at hand. You know, they just out there in this space. You know what I'm saying? Self-esteem low. Don't get haircuts no more. Don't get the hair. Don't wash the hair. None of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You said that clinical well, you know, and then too, man, I guess, you know, I don't know if you had that one up there, but I look at it too is, you know, like sometimes for me, depression or either like the mental health aspect of it, you know, can be like environmental. It's like where they
down.
Say again, like where they can't. I think your sound went out one time, but you good though.
Okay, all right. Break that down for me.
I mean, you know, like your environment, like an environmental situation is like, you know, like the neighborhood you grew up in or the household you may have grown up in. You might have seen some stuff in the household. Like some people may have abusive parents, or they may see their mom and their dad abusive to each other.
Yep, true that.
And, you know, and that can kind of take an effect, or either like another good one too is with environmental is like when a divorce happens.
Yeah,
you know, the kids can't cope because they're used to seeing the two parents in the household.
Yeah,
and when their dad is out, cause more likely the mom's gonna have the child anyway, the children. And so they used to seeing their dad every day in the household. You know, and their dad ain't no longer in there. You know what I'm saying? They'll take effect on them too. And then they'll lash out at the mom, or they'll lash out at anybody, you know, or, you know, sometimes the dad, they may think it's the dad's fault, but really it ain't the dad's fault.
Yep, that's true that. You know, true that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Those are good points too. And so the next one is anxiety disorder, symptoms that include stress that's out of proportion to the impact of the inability to set aside worry and restlessness. You just folks just can't get rid of the restlessness. They just the worry that's there all the time. You just every morning they wake up, it's there.
Right.
Don't go nowhere. And you know, some people like that. You know what they think it is? Man, it's a lack of, you know, I just say, man, I think I'm doing too much. I'm working too hard. You know, I think that's what it is. No, dog. You might need to get that checked out.
Yep.
For real.
That's where it stems to back to when you said like guys and women.
Women,
don't like to go to the doctors. But I can say now women, they do have a better track record than we do as far as doctor visits.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they definitely get in there and get it checked.
Yeah, and a woman, one thing about a woman, they ain't gonna be afraid. A lot of them.
Yeah.
They gonna be afraid to be like, hey doc, I mean, I got something going on mentally, you know, tell other women or other people, whatever, you know, to talk about it, whatever, but we'll keep it in as guys. So that, like you said, we'll you know, like, oh, I'm just tired, or, you know, I need to slow down a little with that restlessness you talking about.
They definitely would do that, but y'all need to get this stuff checked out because I'm just going down the list of the most common ones, and then we're gonna get into some other stuff as the show progresses. Bipolar disorder, manic episodes may include symptoms such as high energy, a reduced need for sleep, loss of touch with reality. Depressive episodes may include symptoms such as low energy, low motivation, loss of interest in daily activities. Mood episodes that last days to months at a time, and may also be associated with suicidal thoughts. Like that's got to be like one of the worst ones. I would say that all ain't none of them good, but this one here, bro, you lose touch with reality, bro. Like you can fly off a building or something.
Yeah, man, and like like I said, we as in like when I used to work with guys I work with, like we've encountered co-workers that were like that, like 1 minute, especially like on the female side, like we was co-ed, so you had to work with men and women, right? It wasn't just straight guys or straight female, right?
Yeah.
And some days, man, you might have some women come to work and some guys, they'll come to work, man, and when they come in the morning, they just is fine. Just like, hey, how y'all doing this or whatever. About 15 minutes later, they'd be them flipped out, like, top of their voice. Why you don't we over here talking, this, that, or whatever, this. I'm like, everybody be looking like, why are they hollering across the thing? Right. Somebody else, like somebody is harming them.
And they don't even know it.
Yeah, and then they'll go back to ground zero in probably about another 30 minutes or so. And then
that's crazy, right?
And it's like normal. Like then they sitting in the lunch room or lunch area with people. We just seen them have episodes, but they sitting down at lunch eating with everybody just like ain't nothing happened earlier.
Right. That's like, crazy. And that's wild, man.
Yeah, like you said, that's one of all of them bad, but that's really the wildest one to me too.
Yeah, man. It's crazy because like you think about it, man. Like, and they think it's just how they are, and that's how I am.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That's just me. I've been like this all my life, and right. you've been dealing with bipolarism all your life, probably because your parents didn't want to take you because they already knew that the crazy pill thing was out, and they ain't want to.
Yeah,
they ain't want nobody to know their child was on the crazy pills.
Yeah, man. Like you said, that's crazy because, like you said, they don't want their child to be connected with that, with the crazy, you know what I'm saying? So, and another thing real quick too, man, is like when you dealing with people like that, like on the job, you know what I'm saying? Like I've had experiences with that. And when you come to work, every time you come to work and you got to be around them, you got to kind of check the temperature with them.
Yeah. Walk on eggshells around.
Yeah, if they are, like, oh, hey, how y'all doing today? It's gonna be a good day for a while.
Right.
But if they coming in the morning, I know some people that's watching this video, they probably like, man, I work with someone so right now. And they like that.
Is like that.
And so when you go in the morning and it's like my man or my man or homegirl ain't saying nothing, and you just y'all or everybody been chopping it up with them like the last few days, like on the regular, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you walk in the next day and they ain't saying nothing. They just look like they want to be alone.
Yeah.
They just let's let them. That's what I call checking the temperature. When you see them like that, just go on and stay away from them until they come around.
Yeah. And then once they come around, you can.
Yeah, then you can have a regular conversation.
If not,
until they flip out again.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying, man. Like, it's I wouldn't say that is more prevalent in the Black neighborhood. I just know that we Black, so we grew up around it.
We can speak on it.
So we can speak on it. So I don't know what the statistics is in the the other races and stuff like that. And I didn't think to look up the statistics because I ain't think we were gonna go this way with it. But we getting ready to come up against a break. So when we get back, we're gonna finish up talking about we're gonna go into like dementia, schizophrenic, and then some other stuff. So we'll jump back into that right after the break, y'all.
All right.
guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's them handwritten letters from home. It's them sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's the line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Hey. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana, to the golden coast of California, Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop, and his 18th birthday was the day he was born. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's the light. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Front line, pay the ultimate price. He was the man of the house when he was born. His family is proud but torn. But if you knew him, you would understand. He was raised on how to be brave, just to see the flag still wave. And then he came home with only one hand. He's Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down here the light. For these stars and stripes. Marching line. Hey. Hey.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Welcome back to Man Talk 133 with Charles and Daryl. Thank everybody for joining the show.
That's right.
We talking about mental illness and what causes it. So we left off with we were talking about bipolar. So the next one up is dementia. Now this has got to be a tough one too, bro. All of them, like we said, all of them bad, but this one got to be tough. The symptoms include forgetfulness, limited social skills, and thinking abilities so impaired it interferes with daily function. So just imagine a person driving and get lost and don't know how to get back home. Then they may not know how to call nobody, and then the memory come back.
Yeah, I think that's what happened to a lot of older elderly. At least I know elderly, like when you see them on the news when they had what they call it, them Amber Alerts, not Amber Alerts, Silver Alert.
Yeah,
Amber Alert. Amber Alerts when they get the keys.
Yeah,
looking for the keys, but that Silver Alert is here in North Carolina. I can't know what I don't know. It's probably the same across the board. I don't know what it is with other states like Cali and all that. For our Cali family that's watching, but Silver Alert over here, but like when they're looking for the elderly people, like you've seen plenty of times when they may be looking for like a grandmother or something like that, and she was on the way from her home to the kids' home or something like that, and she never made it. You know what I'm saying? So that, like you said, that's wild, man.
That's a tough one, Doc. And schizophrenia is characterized by thoughts or experiences that seem out of touch with reality, disorganized speech or behavior, and decreased participation in daily activities, difficulty with concentrating, and memory may also may not be present. You know, they may lose their memory and all that stuff like that. So you're talking about this one, and what's the other one we talked about there? That out of touch bipolar. Well, I guess, don't they say them together? Bipolar, schizophrenia, bipolar.
Yeah, I think they're somewhere along there the same. They might the difference that I may see, see on that is, I think, like you said, that schizo, you don't really you don't remember what you did. Like, you just may fly out to go crazy or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Don't remember.
But even though bipolar people may not remember, like they just blanked on somebody too. You know what I'm saying? But I guess it's a different. With that schizo, it just seems like you more likely to harm yourself.
Yeah, man. And
and others,
Yeah. Ferran Dozier. Hey, tap in, let us know, because I know, your show you talk about a lot, so tap in, man, and let us know, because we got questions. I'm reading it, trying to educate, but also, got questions. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so we can educate, like we tap in with him on his show or their show in Cali. We can tap, we can spread the love over here on the East Coast.
Yeah, for sure.
Since they from the West Coast, you know what I'm saying? With that mental health, because like I said, that mental health, need to be spread abroad. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I know he has some pretty good stuff on that mental health.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you tap us in, man, in the comments, and just let us know what's, give us some, some feedback and stuff like that. OCD often centers on themes such as fear of germs or the need to arrange objects in a specific manner. Symptoms usually begin gradually and vary throughout life.
It ain't funny, boy.
Yeah, dog. They want everything.
It ain't funny, man. Yeah, it ain't funny.
But you know what, though?
Yeah,
man,
but I know what you're saying. Like,
it's a fine line, because you think about it, though. Like, it's some people, man, they just like order. Like, the military people, they've been doing it for like 30 years, so they like they stuff hung a certain way.
And they real, they cleanly, they got a lot of cleanliness with them, so they clean, so they may want this on the coffee table or whatever,
and you better not move it.
I don't want you to touch that.
Got the remote line up a certain way, they come and you to mess with them until somebody finna pay. You heard me?
Hey, now you off the chain for real. You got the remote controls line up. Like, don't you take it.
Yeah, it ain't funny. It ain't funny, but I'm just saying, some people like it.
Don't you move my Netflix remote.
They got them to a line up, dog, from long.
That's wild, man.
And you better not touch it, or if you do, somebody gonna get it, doc. Post-traumatic stress disorder. Some may include nightmares or unwanted memories of trauma, or voices of situations that bring back memories of trauma that are heightened. Like, for example, like I know I've heard some people say, and you making the test of this, I've heard some people that have been in war, they heard loud noises, boom, to send them into send them into something, back into like that trauma. And they like, some women, they've been raped, they smell a certain cologne.
Yeah,
the guy that accuser that had it on,
that's wild, man. You know what I'm saying? That's wild. Like, that's deep that you brought it up, because I know some stuff that triggers, like you said, the topics that we're talking about.
Yeah,
but I've never really, I've thought about, I guess people kind of gloss over that.
Yeah,
like, you never really hear people talking about like that. Like, you may wear a certain type of cologne and it may trigger a female or whatever that you may, that may brings back nightmares. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and may make them think of their ex-husband, how they want to cut his throat.
Right. And that's right. And that's real, because like I said, you would never know.
You would never know.
They're going through, like, you just got that specific type of cologne on, and it's just like trigger.
And she just mean to you all day. Like,
right.
You just, you the target for the day, bro. You just
exactly.
You go to DMV and it's already a line, and you go in, you got that cologne. You know how you stop and that cologne keep going, and it hit her in her nose.
Yeah.
And it remind her of her ex-husband. She said, I'm gonna make him pay today.
Right.
Automatic. She's smiling till she smell that cologne, and she's
exactly. Cause like you said, DMV, they already mean in there anyway. So
yeah, for real. Dog.
Yeah, so
for real.
But yeah.
And
but
this
that is interesting though. That is
for real. It is, man, how that stuff could really, like the gunpowder can take people back to a certain place. If they were in war, they got shot, or somebody they loved and got shot, and they smell gunpowder, can take them, to that place, dog, where they, that trauma, that place,
fireworks.
Yeah, for real, man.
Fireworks used to get me sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day, I was like, hold up, what's that?
Yeah, hold on. Y'all now got shot at. A lot of people ain't know that.
Right. You're right. So so the fireworks, like said, stuff like that can count them.
Trigger, hold on, bro. Everybody get out. Dragging everybody to the ground. Like, bro, just 4th of July. Get off me, bro.
Exactly. You're right.
Yeah, for real, man. So what causes the next one I want to know, what causes a chemical imbalance in the brain?
Wow.
Right. It's one of the things, man, that we how it is, where you how you get on, and then now everybody love you. They want to call you.
Oh yeah.
They want to talk to you.
Yeah.
You start recording, dog. Hey, I love y'all, but I'm in the middle. I love you, baby, but I'm in the middle of recording.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah. So what causes a chemical imbalance in the brain? Chemical imbalances in the brain are particularly involving neurotransmitters, can stem from a variety of factors, including genetics, environmental influences. You talked about that earlier, about the air, environment, trauma, stress, substance abuse, and even lifestyle choices like diet and sleep. While the exact mechanisms and causes are complex and not really fully understood, these factors can disrupt the delicate balance of brain chemicals, potentially leading to various mental conditions. And you probably remember this, how like you have one family member that's like this, and the whole family like that.
Right. Yeah.
So that's one of the things. Genetics. Some individuals may inherit disproportions to chemical imbalances, influencing their these words here tear me up. Susceptibility to mental health conditions like depression or anxiety. Like, some kids, they get it, they get it from their parents, or their grandparents has passed down. But what the crazy part is, we're going to come up against this break real quick.
Right.
But the crazy part about it is the whole family think it's normal.
Yeah.
Everybody in the family, they've been dealing with it so long.
Yep.
That they think it's normal. They think it's normal for him to sit there and gnaw on his nail. Well, my daddy did it.
Yeah.
My mama do it. Yeah. And it's just like, no, bro, it's really some little underlying things that's going on, dog. And we're going to jump back into, when we come back, we're going to jump into the environmental side, like you was talking about, y'all, right at the break.
All right.
Been home about 6 months now, and I still have my doubts. Well, I'm not sure how I got here or how I'm gonna get out. Well, my mama says I look the same as I did before I left. But if she could see inside of me, it would scare her to death. Well, I can still taste the powder from the barrel of my gun, and I can hear my sergeant screaming, "Run, soldier, run!" And I can feel the backpack on my shoulders, God, it weighed a ton. And I see death in every single thought. Well, they taught me how to put that uniform on. I just can't get it off. Last Saturday they honored us in a small parade downtown. And when they shot off those fireworks, I nearly hit the ground. And while they smiled and cheered for us, all I could do was stare. 'Cause part of me is here at home, but part of me's back there. Well, I can still taste the powder from the barrel of my gun, and I can hear my sergeant screaming, "Run, soldier, run!" And I can feel the backpack on my shoulders, God, it weighed a ton. And I see death in every single thought. They taught me how to put that uniform on. I just can't get it on. Yeah, there's no end in sight. 'Cause even though I'm home now, I'm still fighting for my life. Well, I can still taste the powder from the barrel of my gun, and I can hear my sergeant screaming, "Run, soldier, run!" And I can feel the backpack on my shoulders, God, it weighed a ton. And I see death in every single thought. Well, they taught me how to put that uniform on. I just can't get it off. Well, the devil's won some battles, and he may win some more, but don't he know the American soldier will always win more?
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Welcome back to Man Talk 133 with Shaw and Daryl. Boy, I said that quick, didn't I?
Yeah, man. The way you said it, I thought the storm was on the way.
For real, boy. I'm telling you, we got tornado watches and everything going on.
Yeah,
right here.
man. Yeah,
but you not played that song by Mitch Russell, because it was relating to post-traumatic. If you listen at the words he was saying, you know, he was talking about the fireworks. You just talking about that.
Oh yeah.
You talking about the gunpowder,
right?
All that. That's something he dealt with and still dealing with based on the song that he wrote. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, all right. So let's the one you was talking about, man, was environmental and social factors, traumatic events, chronic stress, and exposure to harmful substances can significantly impact brain chemistry and neurotransmitter levels. You weren't really talking about this, but you were talking about being in certain environments.
Yeah.
You know how, you grow up in the hood, they got a certain level of PTSD. They go out the house, they got to make sure. Hey, bro, I got to make sure everything right. If I step on
man. And like you just said too, before we went to break, add another layer to that. Like you were saying too, that tie right in with environmental. Like you were saying, like certain families that keep having kids. Their kids are suffering from mental illness, and then they're having kids, and they keep having kids, and they keep having kids, and so on.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, I don't want to say it like this, but you know how they say it in the hood, like, hey, that whole family crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy people, Doc.
Yeah, so
they need to be on them.
Right. And like I said, that's like you said, that ties in with environmental, you know what I'm saying? Like you saying, they don't know how to, I guess, know how to get the proper help. You know what I'm saying? They see, like you said, they see before we went to break, you said, like you said, they see that homeboy, is biting his fingernails off or whatever, his daddy did it or whatever, or whatever the problems may be. And they just pass it down from generation to generation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
for real, man. And then, like when they do that and they pass it down from generation to generation, man, all they do is continue to cause the trauma.
Yep.
Severe trauma, severe emotional trauma can disrupt brain chemistry, particularly in the limbic system, leading to long-term changes in mood and behavior. Then it goes stress, chronic stress can alter neurotransmitter levels, contributing to anxiety, depression, and mental health issues. I'm gonna stop right there for a minute.
Right.
Because that stress piece, dog. Like some people don't even know they dealing with stress.
Yeah, silent killer.
Yeah, they don't even know that they dealing with stress, and they go day in and day out, day in and day out, day in, and I'm good, and I'm good, and I'm good, now for real, I'm good. Then they at work, before you know it, remember back in the day, you used to have a saying, people go postal.
Right.
And then they go, I guess they came from people shooting up post offices or whatever, but they go postal and then because they suppressing the stress instead of getting help for it. And just so they know, the next one, alcohol don't help, substance abuse and drugs don't help. It does. It actually, abuse of alcohol and drugs can mimic neurotransmitter activity or disrupt their normal function and lead into chemical imbalances and potentially addiction. Like you said, it just, I guess the alcohol, you know how alcohol make people feel?
Right.
They go through stress and make them feel good until it wear off.
Yeah, till it wear off. And another thing to tap back in on what you said too about their stress. They don't know they got stress. A lot of people don't realize, but when they really stress like that and they may not feel it, they may get other ailments.
Yeah.
Because of the stress, and they're wondering like, man, how did I get this chronic back pain, whatever it may be, or something,
Yeah.
Because I've known some people that develop plantar fasciitis in their feet, stuff like that. And they wonder how it was, like how did they get that, or like the like TMJ. Like I just know the acronym. I can't remember what it is, but it's a big long word. But it's like it affects like your joints and your jaws.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, and I've known people that have that. Like like they wondering why did they get that development like that, and they have stress, and they clenching their jaws when they sleep.
I know you're talking about they grind their teeth.
Grind their teeth. Yeah, the dental people tell you that too. So
yeah,
people like that have and that goes back to what you were saying about what you were saying earlier.
Yeah, man, it's kind of crazy, man. And then I think everybody probably can have these hormonal imbalances, fluctuations or imbalances in hormones can impact the brain chemistry and mental health. I.e., ED. You know what I'm saying? They imbalances off, it can affect a man's mental health. Like, he used to that. Now it's
right
out of here. So now he gotta figure out a way to first wrap his mind around because his manhood gone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For a little while, you make him feel less than a man when I guess you can't perform. It's kind of, you're like, dang, bro.
That's why you got to go, like I said, talk to the doctors, man. Don't be afraid of it if that's what's happening with them. You know what I'm saying? Like for the ones that might be reaching out, behind the scenes or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, just go tap in with your doctors, man. Because like I said, if you of age up in age or whatever, and you may experience that, you got to figure you ain't 20, you ain't gonna be 20, 18, 19, 20 years old no more. You ain't like that no more.
Get for real.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Everybody go through it. Our grandparent, our granddad, our dad, everybody gone through that. So it's just part of their human life cycle.
Yeah, man, it is undefeated. I don't care who you are.
Undefeated. You're right.
You're gonna face it. You're gonna face it. If you don't face it, you might be going away from here before you get to that age. But if you get to that age, I
want to stay here. I want to stay here and see it. I don't want to go early.
Yeah, for real, dog. I'm trying to take it.
Yeah, I want to stay here and face it. I want to go ahead and go to the doctor.
For
whatever,
real,
you know
man.
what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to go early. You know what I'm saying? Like some people, they want to go early. I want to stay here late.
I'm good. We straight.
And see the same thing too. Like what you talking about with the ED and the men, the same thing. Tapping in, as far as like with the women with the what is it that same thing with them. See, they may not can adapt to that well. Like they may get it because I'm thinking I think I've heard some people say women are getting it now in their 40s when it used to be a 50 or 60 year old thing or whatever. So like when they getting it in their 40s, they may not be able to adapt to it.
Stress, dog. Stress is the main key out of it. The main key, you're talking about you 40 when it's normally 50, 60, and you 40, you getting it.
Right.
Menopause, it could be stress, it could be genetics.
Yeah.
It could be a lot of different things that people, dealing with. That's why we keep preaching to all of y'all, men and women. Hey, go to the doctor. You got insurance, it's free. Like, look, this one thing, this is a little bit off.
I know. I got a feeling I know what you get ready to say, but go ahead.
Dog, y'all got this free insurance, but go to the dentist, dog.
That's
you
what
get 2 cleanings a year, dog. It's 60 every 6 months. You can get your choppers clean.
I knew you was gonna come with that insurance. They won't use it. They won't use it, like, bro. Like,
I had to jump off topic for a little bit on that, but I'm just saying, though, bro, you got it. Use it. Like even with the mental health issue, they got 800 numbers on the insurance. If you have issues, you can call them and they can talk to you
anonymously.
Anonymous. You ain't got to tell them nothing.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But it's hey, bro. We just try to help the folk out, dog. And then what prevents chemical imbalances in the brain. I'm gonna try to get to some of this before we go to the break. Maintaining a healthy brain requires a balance of neurotransmitters and hormones. While it is not always possible to prevent chemical imbalances, adopting lifestyle habits and seeking professional help, as we've been saying, can help significantly reduce the risk in managing existing imbalances. Factors to help prevent and manage chemical imbalance. Sleep. Get you some sleep. If you ain't got the money to pay for it, you staying up all night ain't gonna help it. I'm sorry. Just get you some sleep. The problem will be there the next morning, dog. It ain't going nowhere. Nutrition, dog. A balanced diet and rich nutrients provides building blocks for neurotransmitters and overall brain function. So, bro, sleep, eat right, exercise, dog. Exercise right. Manage stress is techniques like mindfulness, meditation, and spending time in nature can help reduce stress, which can disrupt neurotransmitters, y'all. Hey, we're gonna jump back into this right after the break, y'all.
Right.
It's time for a vacation, and Fairway Travels is here to share great specials for you to choose from. Discover the charm and features of one of Sandals' 16 all-inclusive, luxury included, adults-only resorts, or a family-friendly beaches destination in the Caribbean. Or how about a couples resort in Jamaica? If cruising's your preference, get Thunderstroke aboard Carnival Cruise Lines or set sail on an award-winning Royal Caribbean ship. Join Virgin Voyages now for a wonderful adults-only sailing. It doesn't matter if you choose to travel by plane, train, automobile, cruise ship, or rowboat, we can help you reach your dream destination. Contact Fairway Travels today at 228-365-1012. That's 228-365-1012. Or email bookitnow247@gmail.com. Fairway Travels, where your journeys keep satisfying.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Come back to Man Talk 133 with Charles and Daryl. Hey, I got some, I'm gonna be honest with you, I got some stuff that they're gonna be surprised about, dog, when I gotta go through this, you know.
Okay.
I'm gonna surprise them with it, dog.
All right.
Medication. We thought about going to the doctor, get you some medication, help regulate neurotransmitters by levels by affecting their reabsorption or breakdown. Psychotherapy, psychotherapy. Yeah, therapy can help address underlying psychological factors that may contribute to chemical imbalances and providing and coping mechanisms and managing symptoms. I think, man, it was on one of the shows here on MBR. Somebody had someone on their show and they was talking about dogs, if I remember correctly. They was talking
like
about
a therapy
dogs.
dog or something.
Yeah, like, you know, the dogs, like even one show, I want to say they take the dogs to into prisons and help people cope. Help people cope with it, with stress and stuff like that. And I think it was a young lady up here that did it. She was talking about, I had to look it up, but dogs and animals, you know, help people, you know, with stress. You know what I'm saying? Light therapy. Exposure to sunlight can help reduce serotonin and melatonin, which are important for mood and sleep. I mean, help regulate, not reduce, help regulate. Serotonin and melatonin, which can help, you know, mood and sleep. So, dog, this is y'all got to seek professional help. I got so much stuff here, dog. Schizophrenia, we already talked about that. I did so much research that dog, I can go probably 2 shows, dog, but you know,
you might have to, like you say, you might have to
do a part 2
to the next one. Part 2.
Dog. And you know, we talk about schizophrenia and, you know, the risk factors. The cause of schizophrenia is not known, which is crazy, right? These factors can make schizophrenia, these factors seem to make schizophrenia more likely. Family history of it, life experiences such as living in poverty, stress, or danger, some pregnancy and birth issues, such as not getting enough nutrition before and after birth, low birth rate, or exposure to toxins or viruses before birth that may affect brain development, taking mind altering, also psychoactive or psychotropic drugs as a teen or young adult can cause it. Because you think about it, if you look at the symptoms of that, it make them, if you take a drug like that, it just make them feel like, yo, bro, I feel like I can fly. Or to just jump off this house. I'm like, bro, I don't think that's a good idea.
No.
If you ain't got somebody around you that know that you're dealing with that, man, hey, they be like, well, go ahead and jump there. I don't believe you got them fools that's with you, though. you know, and I know you got something.
Oh no, I was gonna go ahead on. You go ahead on. I was gonna tap in with that. What was it, Alzheimer's? Was it Alzheimer's? You had Alzheimer's, like now after schizophrenia. You know, we had talked about dementia earlier.
Yeah, dementia.
Yeah, we had talked about that earlier. I was gonna say something about that before, before the show end.
Oh no, you can go ahead. Yeah, because I'm gonna go into some more stuff about schizophrenia.
Oh no, but what I was gonna say real quick, for the people that maybe dealing with somebody with schizophrenia, I'm not schizophrenia. I'm like you now, dog. The people that's dealing with dementia.
Yeah,
because we have had a class on that before.
And
when you talking for the people that's dealing with people with dementia, just got to be patient with them, because sometimes you can be talking to them and they may hear what you're saying, but they may forget it on the snap of a finger or what you're saying, and it'll sound like like you keep repeating yourself to them and they don't understand what you're talking about. That's the early symptoms. And it could frustrate a person that don't know what may be going on. So especially in elderly people.
Yeah, for real.
You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to put that in there real quick, just in case
y'all
we in the show.
Yeah, be patient with them, dog.
Yeah.
Complications of schizophrenia, left untreated, schizophrenia can lead to severe problems that can affect every area of life. Suicide attempts, thoughts of suicide, anxiety disorders, and obsessive compulsive disorder, also known as OCD, which we talked about earlier.
Right.
Depression, misuse of alcohol, drugs, and nicotine, not being able to work or attend school, money problems and homelessness, social isolation, health and medical problems, being victimized because people don't know what's going on with them. So they'll take off on them because they think they're trying to be funny, which they really not. They just need help.
Right. And that's schizophrenia, man. That whole word, like you done named all the other stuff that's pretty much connected to schizophrenia. But when you say schizophrenia, you automatically think about a person that's gonna kill, like a serial killer.
Yeah,
that's gonna kill everybody. Oh, he's schizophrenic. He gonna go off and kill and stab up everybody or whatever. That word right there, in itself, is like a scary word, even though it's still pretty much like the other ones that we were talking about.
Man, it's then that's the next one: aggressive or violent behavior. Though people with schizophrenia are more likely to be assaulted rather than assaulting others, but they will assault. Some of them will jump into that mindset,
right?
Of, hey, bro, I'm gonna take off on, because they feel like they can whoop anybody. They feel like they can whoop Mike Tyson, anybody. They jump on anybody because the imbalances make them feel like, hey, I'm invincible.
Right.
You don't want to mess with me because, and they can be like a number 2 pencil, but you don't want to mess with me.
We say bluffing and taking the shirt off and all this
all
stuff
kind
like
of
that.
stuff.
And, like I said, man, you run into a lot of people like that, man, out, out and about, you know what I'm saying, that's actually dealing with stuff like that.
Yeah, for real, man.
They may be homeless or they may live in a shelter or whatever. A lot of those people, I know some of them faking, like those people to be holding up those signs and stuff like that at the corners. Like, our work for food and all that. Well, some of those guys are really like that, too. So that's why a lot of people really don't bother with them, because they don't know how to decipher. They don't know whether, this person, like this schizophrenia, or if he's crazy. Well, that's why a lot of times when you see these people holding these signs, you can kind of look at them. They look the part. That's why a lot of people they ride right past them. It ain't that they don't want to help them. But, bro, if somebody stop and try and talk you, help you, like you said, you might take off on me.
Yeah, I'm trying to help you out.
Yeah, then I'm gonna have to take off on you. You know what I'm saying?
I had to defend myself, dog. I don't mean no harm. I'm gonna have to do it. And prevention. There's no sure way to prevent schizophrenia, but staying with your treatment plan can help stop symptoms from returning or getting worse. Researchers hope that leading like more treatment down the road, more research can help
Right.
You know, help you find some type of diagnosis for it. But that's what I wanted to get to the people, dog, because
go ahead.
You know, they think that that mental health is just a us thing, and it just started now, but it ain't just started now, dog. It started. It's in the Bible. I'm gonna give them some examples in the Bible, dog. I got to get to them. Yeah, you know. Yeah, the story of the man that got Gadarenes. Do you think he suffered with mental illness? I'm gonna read what he suffered with, and you tell me, do you think it could be schizophrenia or whatever? The story refers to a demon-possessed man in the region of Gadarenes, healed by Jesus. This event was accounted in 3 different instances, like Matthew 8:28-34, Mark 5:1-20, and Luke 8:26-39. Jesus was traveling. He encountered this man living in the tombs. He was tormented by demons. The man, the man was he was possessed. He didn't have no clothes on. The chains couldn't even hold him. Was snapping the chains and all kind of stuff. So I personally think
I agree with you.
That's one example.
Y'all already know what you're gonna say. I agree with you on that.
Yeah. All right. So if that wasn't enough for y'all, want me to give y'all more? I'm glad y'all asked. You know what I'm saying? The Bible portrays several instances where individuals may be described as may be considered mental health struggles. You know what I'm saying? Some King David and all. So I'm gonna give some examples to y'all before we get out of here, dog. Here's some more detailed examples. David, King David. The Psalms particularly lament Psalms like Psalm 6 and 13 reveal David's deep emotions and struggles with depression and anxiety. Y'all gonna have to go read them because we'll be up here all night trying to read all this stuff, right? Right. Elijah, after his victory over prophets of Baal, Elijah experienced a deep sense of despair, feeling alone and afraid, which led him to request death or even sleep. And I'm gonna read this one because I want y'all to know this is a real one. 1 Kings 9 verse 3, and I think 4. I think it may be 4 too. Elijah was afraid and ran for his life. When he came to Beersheba in Judea, he left his servants there. While he himself went on a day's journey into the wilderness, he came to a broom bush and sat down under it and prayed that he might die. And he said, I've had enough, Lord. He said, take my life. I'm no better than my ancestors. So he wanted to kill himself, dog.
Yeah.
I mean, not kill himself. He wanted him to take his life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go to Job, dog. Job story is of immense suffering where he loses everything and questions God's fairness, which leads to profound mental distress. He lost everything. We was talking about how you was talking about environmental, you could lose. He lost everything. He was at the top at the food chain. He lost everything. You think that won't affect somebody's mental, dog?
All day long.
Daniel chapter 4, Nebuchadnezzar experiences loss of sanity due to his arrogance and pride, which is a manifestation of his mental instability. We know the story of him. You know, he wanted to be the guy. He wanted to belt the gold. He wanted everybody to bow down to him. And because of that, he had to pay. I mean, you want to be God. So God said, okay, I got you. No problem.
Right.
Hannah, I'm just getting it to him now. Hannah.
Oh, go ahead on. You can finish it off because I know we might be pushing for time.
Yeah, we definitely
let you go ahead on, finish them off and leave them with some scriptures.
All right. Hannah, barrenness and her deep longing for a child are depicted in 1 Samuel 1:1-20, where her experience of grief and despair. Jonah's anger and desire to destroy Neviah destroyed along with his significant despondency after God spared the city and demonstrate his emotional vitality. You know, we out of time, but I'm gonna read this one, then we're gonna be gone.
All right.
Paul, a reference to Paul's a thorn in the flesh in 2 Corinthians 12:7-9, which he asked God to remove, is often interpreted as a physical or mental condition. A thorn in the flesh is a common item that describes a persistent annoyance or difficulty, often a person or thing that causes continuous pain or trouble. Y'all can go read it where he talked about, you know, about it being a thorn in the side and all that stuff like that. But there's so much more we could get to, but we are all the way out of time. Thank y'all for joining the show tonight. Thanks for joining the Man Talk 133 with Charles and Daryl. Until next time, y'all stay blessed.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us, giving our veterans a voice.